By the 1920s, the industrial world had settled on a specific philosophy of power. Machines were designed to generate energy through explosion, using heat, pressure, and combustion to force movement in rigid, straight lines. But an Austrian forest warden named Viktor Schauberger rejected this entire approach. He turned away from the academic training of his peers, choosing instead to study the physics of the forest in the untouched wilderness of the Alps. He spent years observing how life interacted with moving water. He watched mountain trout hovering completely motionless in the center of violently rushing streams, seemingly anchored in the flow with no visible effort. He noted a similar efficiency in swimming snakes. Without fins, they moved as fast as an arrow by mimicking a specific twisting body movement, a combination of vertical and horizontal curves that worked with the water's own rhythm. From these observations, he formulated a theory of implosion. While human machines used heat and explosion to push energy outward, nature used cooling, inward spiraling motion. He believed this centripetal movement could release energy over 100 times more powerful than conventional generation. Schauberger's dedication to nature's implosive mechanics made him an innovator, but it also placed him in direct opposition to an industrial society built on the opposite principle. His first major test came in 1922. A local prince needed to move massive amounts of timber through inaccessible mountains, a task hydrologists called impossible because heavy hardwoods like beech and silver fir were denser than water and would simply sink. Schauberger's solution ignored the straight lines of traditional engineering. He built a wooden flume that followed an egg-shaped cross-section and meandered through the curves of the valley like a snake. The design relied on precise temperature regulation. By introducing cold water at specific intervals and using internal guide vanes to create a longitudinal vortex, he forced the water to spiral, generating a centripetal lift that held the logs in the center of the flow. The flume worked perfectly. He successfully transported over 1,600 cubic meters of timber in a single night, proving he could move logs that were physically heavier than the water carrying them. The success earned him commissions across Europe, but it also fueled an intrigue within the academic world. Despite his results, professional engineers began a campaign to discredit him, labeling him an uneducated dilettante. Schauberger later turned his attention to soil health. He observed that modern steel plows were creating heat and destructive magnetic friction that dried out the ground, leading to falling water tables and lower fertility. He proposed a biomimetic alternative, the golden plow. By using copper-plated blades, he preserved the soil's magnetic tensions and kept the ground cool. The blade moved in a figure-8 motion, centripetally involuating the soil 360 degrees, ensuring microorganisms were never exposed to direct sunlight. Field trials in Salzburg and Linz during the late 1940s confirmed the results. The copper-plated tools produced a yield increase of 17 to 35%, with healthier crops and significantly improved soil moisture retention. Despite these gains, the copper plow never reached mass production. Local agricultural societies warned farmers that overproduction would lower prices, and political opposition, allegedly fueled by the chemical fertilizer industry, successfully halted the project. The rivalry with the Viennese Association of Engineers eventually took a more dangerous turn. They arranged for Schauberger to be committed to a mental hospital for a special examination, placed in a straitjacket, and kept under SS observation. He was only released after a friend discovered his location and forced an intervention. The encounter demonstrated his work had moved past scientific debate. His ideas were now viewed as a direct threat to established interests. As Europe moved toward total war, the industrial obsession with explosive power reached its peak. The Nazi regime began looking for any unconventional technology that could give them a military advantage. In 1934, Schauberger met with Hitler to discuss his research. He was characteristically blunt, telling the Chancellor that Germany's current technological methods were ruining the Earth's blood, its water, and would cause the country to collapse within a decade. His warnings were ignored, but his expertise was seized. In 1943, Heinrich Himmler forcibly drafted the aging pacifist into the Waffen-SS, declaring him fit for duty despite his old war wounds. He was ordered to develop a new secret weapon known as the repulsine. Schauberger was now forced to apply his theories of cooling, centripetal motion to engineer a disc-shaped aircraft engine for the German military. He resisted where he could, demanding the right to select his own team of prisoner engineers from the Mauthausen concentration camp. He insisted they be fed properly, dressed in civilian clothes, and billeted outside the camp, arguing that men living in fear could not work creatively. It was a period of profound irony. A man who viewed water as a living organism and sought to heal the earth was being coerced into building the machinery of war for a regime he had warned would destroy itself. By 1945, Germany lay in ruins, just as Schauberger had predicted. In the wake of the collapse, American intelligence investigators moved in to debrief him, placing him in protective custody for 9 months to glean information from his wartime research. Years later, in 1958, an American consortium approached him with an offer of unlimited funds to develop his energy technology for peaceful purposes. Now impoverished, Schauberger and his son flew to Texas, believing they would finally see his dream of fuelless power realized. But the agreement soured. Schauberger soon became convinced that the consortium was only interested in his work for military applications, specifically as a foundation for atomic energy research. When he refused to cooperate, the situation became a hostage-like ordeal. He was kept isolated in the Texas heat, his health deteriorated, and the group pressured him to sign over his intellectual property. To secure his return to Austria, he was forced to sign the Texas Agreement. This document legally stripped him of his past models and designs, and explicitly forbade him from conducting any further research into implosion. He was sent home after 5 months, but he left his life's work behind. The systems he had spent decades refining were now the legal property of a consortium that had no intention of using them for the public good. Viktor Schauberger returned to Austria a broken man. Only 5 days after his return to Linz, he died at the age of 73. His final words were a testament to the betrayal he felt. He despairingly told his family, "They took everything from me, everything. I don't even own myself." His life's work is often summarized by a single command: comprehend and copy nature. He believed that by understanding the spiral rhythms of water, we could find a path to health and balance. Our modern reality reflects his warnings. We see water treated as a commodity, forced through straight pipes and concrete channels that strip away its natural energy and vital properties. Schauberger's legacy remains a challenge to modern engineering. His work suggests that the solutions to our environmental crises aren't found in more powerful explosions, but in a quiet return to the spiral motions of the living world.